after signing my resignation letter, it felt really great, actually, really, really liberating. It's like, okay, now I can do 100% what I want to do.
Thank you, Andres, for your time today. Really, really appreciate it. Would you please tell me a little bit about yourself?
Thank you for having me. Of course, I am originally from Peru. I came to the US about 6 years ago, and I did so to do an MBA. I did it at Dartmouth. After that, well, that was a great experience. As you know, I think you also did an MBA in the US.
Yep.
After that, I joined Amazon in Seattle. So I moved to Seattle. That's where I live now. I joined Amazon as a product manager. I worked there for about 3 years. And after that, we then started my own company. While I was at Amazon, I got really interested in meditation. I started practicing it without any previous background. And at some point, it made such an impact on myself, such a positive impact, that I really wanted to start sharing that great gift with others. So I started thinking, well, I was at Amazon, I could make a living out of this. So that's sort of how it started. And well, yeah, I'm not sure what else you would like me to share, but that's sort of a summary.
No. So you mentioned something about like meditation and like your company Innercraft. I think it kind of focuses on that, realm. Would you be able to share like what your company does and also your role at the company?
Yeah, of course. At Innercraft, we offer meditation training for in formats of video courses and personalized guidance by teachers. Our teachers are meditation teachers from diverse wisdom traditions. So you have some teachers from the Sufi tradition, some Zen teachers, some Buddhist teachers, and so on. So that provides a really nice, well-rounded, let's say, diverse options for people who are interested in learning. And my role is CEO and co-founder. So I am leading the company right now. And well, along with my co-founder, who is also a close friend of mine, I met him at business school.
So it seems like you were really into meditation before even starting. What motivated you to like start Innercraft?
I think during Amazon, I realized that, okay, well, I've been pushing myself to sort of get success in my career and get to where I am today, do the MBA, get a great corporate job at Amazon. But, even though it was a great learning experience, I felt it wasn't still that satisfying. On the other hand, like things that I was more connected with, hobbies, or for example, things like meditation and other things, those were the things that I was more interested about, and I could see how diving deep into any of those realms could maybe give me more sense of purpose and more satisfaction in my day-to-day job. Amazon was fine, but there was something missing. And it was clear to me that climbing up the corporate ladder or going to a different company wasn't going to make me any happier at all. So that's how the questioning, or the question of starting a new company or starting a company and leaving the corporate world arose. And then that was followed by a lot of inner search, inner exploration, finding things reflecting on things that I was good at, that I liked, that could bring value to people, and that could also be financially sustainable for myself and my family. So thinking a lot about these things until, well, I had sort of something in mind, and that's when I decided to leave Amazon and start a company.
Might be a dumb question, but are you happier now?
Yeah, for sure.
That's good to hear.
I'm not sure if happiness necessarily will come out of the activity that I'm doing as a full-time job. Maybe I suggested that before, but not necessarily. But what I'm doing now is definitely more aligned to what I believe and to what I feel can contribute to the world in a positive way. So I'm not sure if I'm necessarily happier, but I'm definitely more motivated,
For sure.
and I have more satisfaction with what I'm doing, for sure.
So you mentioned something about like you were kind of working on the side when you were at Amazon or in corporate. Like when did you know that you could actually go full time? Or when did you maybe when not when did you know, but like when did you decide to go full time?
Yeah, I think after this period of sort of reflecting on how I could, bring my unique perspective to a business, I think at that point I probably had two or three ideas sort of fleshed out, not 100%, but I was pretty confident and passionate about them. Something else, I guess, it's important. Financially, I knew I could survive for a couple of years without any income, because I was thinking that's probably how it's going to be. And at the same time, I was thinking if I fail, I'll probably be able to go back to a job like this pretty easily. So there's no downside in trying. I mean, yeah, a couple of years of income, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you mentioned that you have a partner or a co-founder.
Mhm.
Did you start with that person from the beginning of your journey, or like did you and your friend kind of catch up maybe like in
Yeah.
the middle or something?
It
How
was
did that work?
Yeah, it was in the middle. So as I mentioned, I had a couple of ideas that I wanted to try out. Uh, so the first one was an Innercraft, actually, was around vegan protein bar idea. Um, but then after 3 months of starting to try to make that happen, I sort of realized that that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I think part of me thought that may be an idea that could bring money quickly, and that I
Mm,
also sort of liked, but not really an idea that I thought would bring massive value to people,
mhm.
um, and that I was very, very passionate about, and I really believed in. Well, I'm not sure if you know about ayahuasca. If you've heard about ayahuasca, it's a psychedelic plant that a lot of people use in Peru and in the Amazon rainforest for spiritual purposes. So I went to an ayahuasca retreat for 10 days with this
Okay.
friend of mine, who at
Yeah.
that point we were I mean we didn't discuss about any idea really. We did this trip. I think this is a topic for a longer conversation, but I got some insights about what I was doing, and what I should be really doing, let's
Yeah.
say, in this world, that was very aligned to me. It was very clear at that point that the protein bar was not what I wanted to do, but this other thing, Innercraft, was. Uh, my friend at that point had a very similar insight about his career. At the time,
Mm,
he was a business consultant. Um, so yeah, in that retreat is where we partnered and we
yeah.
started a
Okay.
company.
As an entrepreneur, what's something that you like the most and something that you like the least, maybe?
Mhm. So things I like, as I mentioned, being very connected to what I'm doing, really believing in what I'm doing, and being able to see the benefit that my work is bringing every day in a very direct way. That's something that keeps me going, keeps me motivated, and that I enjoy. Then definitely the idea of sort of being your own boss, setting your own schedule and setting your own vision as well, and being able to push your vision without too much pushback. That's pretty nice too.
Mm-hmm.
Things I don't like. Let's see. I can think of many, honestly. I mean, it's not that it's perfect, but pretty grateful for
Yeah.
where I am. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What is one thing that you wish you knew before you started when you look back in your days when you were kind of thinking about, what to do and like stuff like that? What's
Mhm.
one thing that you wish you would know?
Well, definitely. the entrepreneurial route has a lot of ups and downs. I heard about that before, but I didn't know it was that much. So I think it's a good thing that I picked something that I really care about, because otherwise I think it would have been hard to go through so many downs or through many low points. I think also having a business partner, which is not something that I consider maybe that important at the beginning, was very helpful to navigate through those times as well, and to bring a different perspective to the whole thing. So those two things are important, and I wasn't that aware of them, I guess.
Like how did it feel when you kind of, like submitted your resignation letter to to your manager or your boss?
Yeah, that's
because
yeah,
per what you just told me, or what you told me today, is that you didn't really have a set business before you left the company, right? Like you were
right.
kind of in the middle of like figuring it out and stuff like that, like going to Peru, and kind of in the spiritual journey. So I was kind of wondering, like was it kind of nervous, or like
Yeah,
or do you feel freedom, or?
it was a mix of both for sure. I think especially before doing it and the weeks leading up to that, very nervous if I was making the right choice or not. Even though I had already thought about it before and I already knew that I was in a safe spot doing it, quitting and
Yeah.
even failing was fine. Going back was an option. Nothing was going to happen. But even that, even knowing that, there was some feeling of being scared. Uncertainty, I guess, was what was originating this feeling
Of
or
course.
generating this feeling. But at the same time, well, after signing my resignation letter, it felt really great, actually, really, really liberating. It's like, okay, now I can do 100% what I want to do. Now it's on
Yeah.
me. There's no more excuses, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it differently. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it was a hard decision to take.
Oh, of
100%.
course. Yeah, for sure. It might be another dumb question, but have you ever regretted leaving, like since you left, like leaving corporate?
No, not really. I've never regretted it. Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's the answer I wanted to hear. Okay. My last question now is advice for those who want to, become an entrepreneur, but who's
Mhm.
working in their, day-to-day corporate job.
Mhm. I think definitely start. Well, like there are many ways of doing it, but I can speak only to my experience. So what worked for me? Start. I would recommend to start if you don't have a lot of hobbies or passions outside of work. Maybe start trying to find
Mm,
some of those. A lot of people I know working in corporate, I mean, it's so intense that they don't really have time for anything else. But I think if you want to pursue an entrepreneurial idea in the future, it's important to put that also as a priority, not only work, and maybe um, stop putting, I don't know, 14 hours, put 8 hours a week for the next 3 months or something like that, and then use the rest of the time to start doing other things. Life is, I mean, your
yeah.
life experience is broad, right? There are so many things out there, and again, I think to be able to navigate and to stick in the long term with a new business idea, it's important to be passionate about it. So that's something I would recommend at
Yeah.
least to start
Yeah. Yeah.
exploring things that you really like
Yeah. Yeah.
and
No,
getting to know yourself better as well. Part of it, definitely.
that makes total sense. I think it's like how you described it is just like so interesting, because it's not about, hey, I want to make more money, but it's more about the purpose and
Mm-hmm.
meaning for you, and as well as just like finding yourself. I think like that's, and then obviously, transitioning that into an actual value that you can provide to the people out there. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's really interesting. Yeah. Hey, Andres, that was all the questions for today. Thank you so much for the time and your insight.
Thank you, Jan. You had great questions. Thank you.
Thank you.